Hi everyone, welcome back to Not in My Lifetime channel. And today we are back with Brigzy on a lovely Thursday evening. Well, it's miserable down where I am today, but a nice Thursday evening with another week. A tour's over in America. No more pre-season games in America to stay up late, whatever, to watch them. We're now back in England and we get ready to play our first competitive game. Well, it's a friendly anyway, but we'll go all good later on. But before we get probably into that, Brigzy, how you doing, mate? All good?
Yeah, it's not bad, mate. Up here and all, it's just cloudy, mate. Just settling down for the sunset, so we ain't got it like you have down there.
No, miserable, mate. Absolutely miserable. But that's it comes to you in a nutshell. The weather's so terrible. It's either miserable up there, nice down here. It's never the same anywhere in this country, but it's what
Yeah,
it
I'm
is.
sat with rugby on now, mate. It's at Salford, and it's chucking it down as well. Typical
typical,
Manchester for you, that.
typical Manchester in a nutshell. That is, yeah, absolutely. But you know what? Let's actually get on to the actual news then. So before we get into the actual Chelsea game, and the United game, obviously coming up on Saturday. Let's discuss Julian Alvarez. Now, obviously, the last week or so, we've been some obviously like the developments obviously on him. You know, sort of. I think I said before, obviously, that I think he would stay, but considering the last couple of days, obviously, of progression and the fact that let's go and put the money for him and fair play, they have put the money up as they've asked for, and it's gonna get sorted out. I'm like you, like I said to you earlier on before we start the stream. I'm not necessarily upset about this because as much as like he's a great player in his own right to have as a backup on the bench, he should be playing for a team week in week out, but it's not for us. He's a good player that will have a lot of potential in the future to get towards the world class level. But right now, all he'll be doing is playing on the bench a lot of the season, and that isn't right for him because he should be playing week in week out for a player of his quality, playing as number one striker, the number nine for Argentina. He should be playing week in, week out. So the fact we got him for £14 million for a Russian for a River Plate and managed to get him for like 2 or so years to win us everything for us in 2 years. Like the man's done what he's to do, I think, for us. He's done everything he needs to do, title wise, everything. He's done it all. But how do you feel about the actual move itself?
Yeah, well, like we say, it's 14 million what we signed him for like 2 years ago, and he's one of them where obviously, I'm not being funny to Julian Alvarez. How are you going to get in that team in front of Erling Haaland? And the only way you can get in that team with Erling Haaland is if you get into the midfield, like when Pep's experimented with Alvarez. But obviously, Alvarez isn't a fan of midfield playmaking roles, so he wants to be the number one striker, which, like we say, no chance with Erling in this club. So, for what money we're getting for him, it's quality, really, because I mean, he's never had, especially in the last season, never had that chance to shine in the striking position role. He's always been in and around there, or it's mainly midfield role. So for what you're getting money wise, it's a complete, in my opinion, complete bargain. I think he's worth about 70 to 75 mil. And I've heard quotes that we're getting 90 mil, including the instalments. So fair play to the board for doing that. And obviously, good luck to Julian Alvarez when he goes to Athletic Madrid because he needs a team where he's going to be the number one striker, and hopefully, Atletico's his move where he can start to flourish as a number one.
Absolutely. I think he will do. It's weird, obviously. It's like these reverse Aguero, and obviously going from City to Atletico Madrid the other way around. But honestly, I think for him himself as well, he's won it all here now. He's won two titles, FA Cup, Champions League, Club World Cup. He's won it all. So I can't blame him. Like it's not the fact that he's not loyal. Like the other day, right, he came here from Argentina for a team that he knew where he was coming into anyway, and he helped us win everything. I can't sit here and say he's done nothing for us. He's been brilliant. Yes, could have more goals, possibly. But again, when you got Erling Haaland in that team in front of you, it's hard to do anything. And if he was only striker in his club, he'd probably be on a lot more goals by now anyway. He'd probably be one of the best strikers in the world anyway right now. But it is what it is. I think the fact we've got Echeverry coming in as well in the future, we'll see another young player from Argentina as well coming through. It's not the end of the world. But I think for us particularly, we've said it beforehand, we got to that money put towards a midfielder. Like I'm not bothered about a striker's pointless because if you get a striker in to replace Alvarez, that same player will be gone next year or the year after anyway because he won't be getting the team anyway. You either have a young striker on the bench like a Dala or someone who's going to be an understudy to Haaland, or you get a midfielder in of good quality who can sort of help Rodri out and make it a bit more of a tight midfield going forward. But if I see a striker link or winger link, I'm a bit concerned, really.
Well, I think one thing what we've got to clear up on Alvarez is his numbers actually aren't that bad for the last season, mate. I think he's got 34 GNA in the last season, so the numbers actually are quite quality for obviously what he's contributed, rather than being the actual number one striker. So fair play to him for them numbers and contributions. And apparently fifth most minutes in the team as well. So a lot of that's down to Pep's experimental midfield positioning. But obviously, there's no chance he's going to be number one striker. So it's maybe best, like he thinks in his head, yeah, I am going to get a chance as number one striker at City. And that's no disrespect to Erling Haaland, but I need to focus on my own career, and that's elsewhere at City for me to rise my full potential as a number 9. And when you're talking about what we want to do investment-wise with that money, yeah, like we were saying off stream, they're looking at using that Alvarez money to get Eze in. And for me, I think the priority should be the backup DM, because Rodri's crying out for cover, and obviously, why do you need to get Eze when you've got McAtee, Bob coming in the picture this season, and Pep's already confirmed them two are part of his plans. It's one of them where if you're going to get Eze, you're just disrespecting McAtee and Bob, and you're just going to throw them under the bus with lack of minutes and their talent that they're going to have. So you may as well not bother with Eze and just focus on the priority, which is Rodri cover. Sorry, you've had plenty of chances to get Bruno Guimaraes. Yep, I know it's about we don't want to pay the release clause, but we were saying off stream. I said Ruiz. Who was it you said? Sorry, Luke. Get his name. Yeah, Zubimendi. So you've got options there. Not like we're short on DMs. You've got 3 DMs that you've had the chance to get all summer. And I'm not being funny, right? It's all right, me and you saying Zubimendi, but this is a joke. I've not seen Man City linked once to Zubimendi. And this Alvarez money is the perfect execution to buy Zubimendi, Ruiz, or even Bruno. Chances are running out, mate. Time's running out, I'm afraid.
Exactly, and the fact that it's August as well now, it's like I just wish we got business like this club and business right. I don't care if people don't like this or not, right? But this club needs to get the business done earlier, because the fact that we're now having to wait around to get money in now when the season starts next week, like next Sunday was our first league game, and we haven't got. We've got Savio for a little, but Savio was done the start of this year. We knew it was coming in the start of this year, so I get they're waiting for players to leave. Fair enough, but why wasn't this planned out more? Like, where was the plan? Said right, Alvarez is going. He's coming in straight away, because obviously we had the money still to actually get them. So I'm just a bit confused why the club didn't like get something done by now. And I'm not asking for loads, but I'm asking about maybe one more player for the midfield to give Rodri a bit of rest when he needs it as well, because the man's been playing so many games recently. Yeah, he's won the Euros, which by the way, incredible. And
Extended time off as well now because of the Euros.
Exactly. So the club should have got someone in immediately. Zubimendi, after performance against England, should have been right, getting you, and then you get it done.
Can I say something right there? That's why I'm more questioning the Eze rumours, because why do we need Eze when we've got enough midfielders in the attacking roles and we've not got enough defensive midfield cover? Why do you want Eze when your priority should be from day one, and still is, a defensive cover for Rodri? That's what I don't get.
Calvin Phillips particularly as well. I know obviously he's been playing pretty well the last couple of games. Obviously we'll go on to like Chelsea now anyway, in transition to that one. Calvin Phillips is an option, yes, but the problem is with Calvin Phillips is it's up here that concerns me. He's played well, granted. I'm not knocking it, and I hope he gets on Saturday. If he plays again, he plays well again. The problem is that can we trust this guy to be the backup? Because if he can do it, then I have no issues in giving him a chance. But we can't risk just trusting Phillips, on his word. And then what happens if he gets an injury to start the season, and then we've got no backup DM? I know people want it to happen. I get it, but when I see how we're playing at centre back, because the centre back is not the same position he's played beforehand, we got to see a bit more than what we're seeing to really trust him as the backup. And so, like, I'd rather get someone in of actual quality because Phillips hasn't bought any trees yet. He's got a lot to prove. I'm not saying I'm not saying I'm going to give him a chance, but it's a huge gamble if we do that. If Pep trusts him enough, right, and says, you know what, I'm going to trust you to be the backup DM, then all right, fair enough. But it's a huge risk there if we do go for Calvin Phillips as backup DM.
No, honestly, if I'm being honest, I just can't see Calvin Phillips in this picture this season. I mean, he's had 2 seasons now where obviously he's had the chances, obviously after the injury to get back, injury after the pre-season friendly to get back up to speed. Obviously, it's failed. Pep sent him out on loan last season to West Ham. West Ham's not gone to plan. I think it's time just to not disrespect, but to move on from Phillips. And that's no disrespect to him, but obviously he's not fitting in the picture this season for like defensive midfield cover. He's all right playing at centre back, but again, that's pre-season. He's got to do it over a full campaign, not just 4 weeks. Can he hack it in centre back? And we've stacked in centre backs. So for the defensive midfield shape, it's time to move on from that. Time to move on from that picture with him because ultimately he's had his chances and it's failed. So I think it's now time to start looking at Zubimendi, Ruiz, Bruno. But obviously, we're not moving at the minute, are we? We just stood still. Before you know it, right, we could be left with O'Reilly, which I don't mind, but he's a kid. That's a lot of pressure to be Rodgers' deputy. And especially when it comes to, let's say, Rodgers suspended, and then all of a sudden, Rodgers suspended, and you think, shit, we've got Liverpool the week after, and he's still suspended. Can you imagine all the pressure on O'Reilly to fill Rodgers' shoes in that kind of match?
Exactly. And as I say, I'm going to the game obviously on Saturday or something. We'll go into that game later on, but
Yeah.
it's just there's a lot riding on that game. Not necessarily about the result, but more about the team you play on Saturday. Because what is Pep's? Because I think Saturday we'll start seeing the team come together. But I'm not saying the whole team, obviously, because not everyone's going to be back yet. So we've got to remember to take that for it's not our first team for a while anyway. But we'll definitely see a real indication of whether Calvin Phillips is trusted enough to play in that midfield role. If he starts on Saturday and has a good game, then he has every chance of starting them against Chelsea. You never know. Like it's all down to him now at this point. And I think obviously the actual game itself go on to Bob and Haaland were unbelievable. McAtee was unbelievable. But let's be real, right? They're playing against a Chelsea team that are under new management, new style of play, players that have got each other again. I'm not putting down our performance, by the way. I thought we played pretty well, but you've got to look at the context. And we're playing against a team that's trying to get used to a whole new style of play again. I'm having a whole new style of play again the year before, and the year before that as well. Like Chelsea is a never-ending style change every year. So I'm not taking much from the game really, more of the fact that Haaland's looking really good. Back to his first year self under us. So he's back to his clinical, take his chances when he gets them. It's nice seeing him back to that level again. But the thing is, this game on Saturday coming up is where, for me, we'll start seeing the team come together a bit more. Because we got to at some point, because I want to see Savio play. Obviously, a little bit off the bench. I want to see a bit of Doku. I want to start seeing the main players as well on Saturday, obviously, like cameos. Now, I want to start seeing this squad come together a bit more. And especially one player as well, who I'm still disappointed in Nunes. Because he should have been in his preseason. I don't care about that. Oh, he's playing for Portugal. He didn't play many games at all. He should have been there in America playing a couple of games. Like look at Vardy on Kovacic. Should have playing a lot of games, and yet they still came back and played games for us. Vardy was playing midfield at one point at Chelsea. Got an assist for it. So Barcelona, not Chelsea, but I mean, it just shows that we need to see players like Nunes and Phillips in this team showing what they can do. Because if they can play really well, there's no reason. There's no need for us to actually go to market and sign someone massive. Like it just, we have players there in a squad who can do it, but it's just down to whether or not their players individually can actually step up and prove that they can do it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, we've Gvardiol, he's like came in after the Euros on his little holiday. I think he came back for the Barca game, was it? Or was it the Milan game? But either way, he came in and obviously he was quite comfortable after his little break. He knew the role pretty well, and obviously he's not fallen back off where he left off at the back end of last season. Back end of last season, Gvardiol was cooking, like up and down that wing, scoring goals, tracking back. He had the full locker last season, and obviously pre-season he's carrying on where he left off basically. So if you keep that up going into United on Saturday and then Chelsea the week after, there's an exciting player to go right. You've had a full season now to go ahead and build off where you left off last season. He could be an exciting player come the end of this season, and I might throw an early shout here. Could he be a potential Player of the Year award this season? Whether it's uh, the men's Player of the Year or the Young Player of the Year, he's going to be up for a shout if he carries on where he left off.
Absolutely, and I think this is what I mean. I think this season, particularly, most of all, will lead the whole squad this season. The whole squad's going to be needed this year, especially when we've got a big summer as well. Obviously, in America, Soccer World Cup as well in June, July. We've got a long season ahead of us. Look, League Cup, I don't. I'm not being rude. I don't give a shit about it anymore. Like we've won it enough times now, and if we win it again, also if we win it again, I'm buzzing anyway. It's still a trophy. But when I look at trophies that we've got, I care more about the FA Cup, Champions League, Premier League. That's what I'm focusing more on anyway. League Cup's more of a, if we get to a final and going to win it, brilliant. I'll take it. But I think Pep's kind of known now it's not really the point anymore. Like if you get an easy run, then why not go on and win it? That's why I look at it. So
with the League Cup though, what I will say is times have changed where like obviously now we're competing on every single front. Like Champions League, we're around the semi-finals every season now. Premier League, we're always winning the league every season, and the FA Cups, we're competing, like I say, minimum semi-final compared to where it was at the start of the Pep era. What I'll say on the League Cup is Pep used the League Cup as a springboard, basically to say, right, here's a competition that no one takes seriously. This is your chance to say, right, we need to get some sort of success into the team and build like a winning mentality. And that's what he used as the League Cup to spring off and build what we are today, basically League Cup winning mentality sort of thing. And now, like you say, does he care about League Cup? Not really, because obviously the team's used to success every season and competing on the top front. And when you look at the bigger picture, is the League Cup priority against every other trophy? Even Pep doesn't agree now, does he? So for me, I agree with you there, League Cup. If you take it seriously, so be it, but it's not your priority because we've got bigger stuff to win, haven't we?
we do.
I nearly came out and said bigger fish to fry then.
Oh, don't say that. That's a challenge. That is. As soon as someone says that, it's over for you. Honestly, bloody.
I nearly caught myself out, but yeah,
well
bigger
done,
stuff to win.
Well, exactly. Well done. But no, I just think for me at the moment, like, I'm focused more on the 3 trophies, so that's what I want to win. But I think I'm not necessarily worried about season. I'm more like just interested to see how it goes because I think now we've got potentially a new style of play now. But like wingers are now obviously a bit more prominent now than they were previous years. We're now going a bit more pace now and skill down the wing again. Are we going back to the old school 4-3-3? Haaland striker, Savio Doku, Bob wingers, rear wingers, De Bruyne, Foden,
Sane, Sterling, Aguero.
the old school. Now, if we do that, that just shows straight away that with instead of going back to what everyone thinks this is going to go back to something else completely. It gives Pep another reason to sort of just change up again and just further and sort of confuse like lots of Arteta and that. And I think that's brilliant because it also gives Haaland options and more service, which is what he's been lacking on the last year or so. Like he needs service. Like De Bruyne can't be the only one that finds him or Foden. It has to be everyone trying to find it. Obviously, it's all about him. But when you've got the best striker in the world, you got to find him and you got to find him. And De Bruyne won't always be here forever. Like I still say he's still world class. He's still the best footballer in the world, on his day in terms of what he can do on the pitch. But we've got to remember, like he's 33 now. Like the guy's quality on the pitch will still be there because he's that good of a player, but his pace isn't going to be the same as usual. Which is where Foden this year has got to step up even more. Now that last year he stepped up, but even more now he's got to step up and show how good he can be. I think can he do it year after year, not just 1 year, year after year, keep improving and keep the levels of goals and assists up because that's what I'm watching this year. Can I see him, Haaland, and likes of Grealish and that, and Doku as well particularly? Can I step up and really sort of not to rely on Haaland, De Bruyne to do it all the time, but you guys can do it as well, and sort of the whole team can deliver. You know what I mean? But it should be about the whole team this year, I think.
No, you're right there. With KDB, he's not going to be around forever, but you've got to realise something. For me, it's the case of I don't think he's going to be around at all because, I mean, I'm used to not seeing Kevin De Bruyne on the pitch when he's like the chunk of start last season. He was injured for half of it, wasn't he? So we had to get used to not playing without KDB for quite a lot of the season of last because obviously injured in UCL, injured at Burnley. So obviously he missed quite a lot last season. But when he came back, he was key then. But you've got to get used to the first half of the season not having him because obviously he can't play every single game like he used to. He won't be able to hack your Saturday 3 o'clock kickoff, your Tuesday night Champions League like he used to years ago because of his injuries and it's caught up to him. And that's obviously as well age. So ultimately, I'd maybe start throwing Phil Foden in the deep end and say, right, we need to start thinking about the future. And obviously, no disrespect to Kev, but the future is Phil Foden.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, Foden's going to have to start stepping up because he's got to approach the prime years as well. And when he's in his prime, he's got to think, right, I am Phil Foden, but look at my successor, Kevin De Bruyne. Look how he played in that midfield role in his prime years. He was outstanding. So Phil Foden, he's been given the keys, but now he must deliver them keys to step up.
Exactly, he's got to get in the car and drive pretty much now. But it's seriously he's given the keys by Kev to drive a Lamborghini or whatever you want to call it. Get in there and drive it. I mean, last year was brilliant, but again, that's one season. I'm not knocking it by the way. Last year was unbelievable. He's definitely one of our players of the year last year, along with Rodri. But this year, you got to do it again every year now. It can't just be one season and then back to mediocre for your standard. It has to be a high level now. Like, look at what Haaland's been doing now for the past 5-6 years as a 18-year-old to where he is now. Like, even last year, it was one of his worst years because of injuries, but he still got 38 goals last season, which is still ridiculous for a player of his quality. But we all know he could have done better if it wasn't for injuries and also missed chances as well. Which is why I think this year will probably be one of the best years. I reckon the way he's looking, the way hungry he looks, we need Foden to be hungry as well. So we've got an attack that's brimming with confidence. And I think if we play cards right, we could be seeing the first 8 or 9 or 10 if it goes our way this year. I know I've said that before, but with the wingers we've got now and the striker we've got now, we've got the ability to sort of pin a team back and start banging the goals early doors again.
I would disagree with you slightly though, mate, because look how many teams will look at that attack, especially last season when we didn't have the pace of wingers. So now more teams are going to utilize what Arsenal did and start defending, especially at the Etihad. I don't think we'll be able to break the 8 or 9s when teams will just think, shit, them pacey wingers are going to cause us a problem. So let's just do what Arsenal did and master plan, park the bus.
But the thing is, I think that's down to us though to find a way of beating that. So it's kind of like that. I get it, but we got to start. I think playing back to our strengths because I think last year in terms of attack, it wasn't the best. It was definitely one of our worst years I've seen us. I'm not saying it was terrible, but for our standards, it was one of our worst years for goals and creative play last year. I think this year we need to get back to that again. Players like Oscar Bob, who's very much like a Maros type player. Not always he's rapid, but he's a quick little dribble player and skill player.
Dynamic.
We've got wingers now that can change it up in each game. We've got Bob, we've got Savio, Doc over the pace wingers, we've got Grealish and Bob, hold up play, skill. We need to be like that in itself. There's before it's true as well. having them 4 wingers is brilliant because now you can sort of utilise and rotate the wingers when you need to do it. Let's say off the bench, you have Savio or Bob, bring them both on straight away, new style going forward again. That's what we need to just start doing. Just try and find different ways of playing against different teams. And I'm patient, obviously, with Pep, obviously, and how I play this year. I'm more like the fact that I'm now actually intrigued to see how we play this year with Savio, like how that's going to work, obviously, with Haaland, and see how the midfield looks this year as well. Obviously, with Rodri obviously coming back later on as well. I just want to start seeing this team like develop more and sort of change as we go along. But I think it's for me. I'd be a lot more confident in this team if we had another midfielder in there just to beef up a little bit. But apart from that, I'm looking forward to Saturday and going forward to see how it goes.
Yeah, for me with Savvy, I think I've mentioned on this channel before. I ain't gonna go crazy over him and put a lot of shit pressure on him because I mean I learnt that lesson from Doku last season. Doku started like a house on fire, and then obviously he dipped for like a couple of months, and obviously I was raving him up to be like, oh, the next superstar winger, and obviously because he needs to mold into the Pep system, and that'll happen with Savio.
Mm.
So I'm not going to gas him up just that easily. I think I'm going to let Savio have a free pass this season before I start bigging him up or jumping on his back if he's underperforming. Because ultimately, as we know, it takes a while to get used to the Pep system, especially when obviously Pep's coming up with these brand new master plans every season and sometimes shakes it up mid-season out of nowhere, don't he? So these players that are coming in need to learn the Pep philosophy and what it's like to be shaken around mid-season.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think it's one thing. I think anyone's sort of worried about whatever's happening at the issue. I think you got to realize, I think every team is going through a different change. I know Arsenal beat Leverkusen yesterday 4-1, but even they've never been a bit weird this year. Like this year, they're big fits in themselves. So with friendlies, you got to just take it with a bit of pinch of salt because it's not the guaranteed results of the game. Like the Chelsea we play next week is a whole different team to one played against in friendly. I'm not saying we won't beat them, but I'm saying that it's a whole different style of game. Like one, you're in England again. Two, you're playing at the Bridge rather than actually a random American stadium, you know, like New York or Ohio or Florida, wherever it was. Sorry, Ohio.
Ohio, yeah.
Yeah. You're playing in a whole different like style and that, and obviously, and a whole different background and obviously environment. So it's kind of like I'm interested to see what Pep goes with on Saturday. That's what I said before. I'm interested to see what like how is it going to be a very similar team to what we saw out in America, or will it be a bit more of a mix up now? Now, I doubt we'll see any of the new guys coming back from Euros and holidays starting. Imagine it'd be a bit more of a bench, bring on for half an hour kind of situation. So I imagine the likes of like De Bruyne and that might get half an hour here and there to sort of stretch legs and that and sort of see how it goes. But I'm looking forward to seeing like most of the players back on the pitch again, especially with like Bob as well. Particularly Bob is something I'm very excited to watch again because I watched him a little bit obviously towards the end of the last season, especially when we went to Etihad. Obviously went to Wembley, Wembley as well. I'm looking forward to seeing him as well this year because watching him in America, he really impressed me. How direct he's been, you know, how much he's really given it this year after having a whole year, obviously in the first team. I think for me, Oscar Bob and McAtee in particular as well, it's a big year for both of them. I think Rico's kind of done it a bit more now for the last 2 years, where I can sort of say he's done enough for me to sort of not have to like watch him. Like I can trust Rico to do a job. Obviously, he plays because I think towards the end of last year with Rico, it was class. Like with Palace and that, he was sort of showing how important he can be in a style of play and also a different Pep team. So yeah, I'm just thinking for me, I'm just interested in the South. Not necessarily the result or who they win or not, but more the fact that what the team's going to be and where we see most of these players going before Chelsea. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, on the McAtee stuff, I mean, said it to you off camera before the stream started. It's a case of with him now he's at that Premier League experience, albeit in a shit team, and obviously he was one of their standout players. So now he's coming into the big team with the big boys. Obviously, let's see how McAtee can handle that kind of pressure playing with the big boys rather than the shitty boys, if you like. Because I mean, obviously, you're expected to perform at a high level, otherwise, you know our fan base like they'll jump on your back straight away. So
Yeah,
McAtee, it's a case of for him, he needs to just like do the basic things just to get the pass. Basically, if he does the basic things, McAtee, and same with Oscar Bob, if you do the basics, then you're not going to get slandered on social media, and obviously if he doesn't perform to that level, he'll get cooked quickly. But for him, I don't think he'll have a problem. He knows Pep, he knows the system, and obviously he knows the players around him, and obviously once he gets going, once he gets a couple of games under his belt, he'll be like, this is easy. I've done it with the shit boys. I'll be able to just if I'm allowed to perform like Phil Foden is allowed to perform, McAtee will have no problems just like doing what he did for Sheffield United. Because if you look at Foden, Pep trusts him. Pep says, "Right, I trust you. I'll let you do your thing as long as you don't go crazy and over the top. Have the keys, have the license to do what you want and dictate the play." And that's what McAtee will be like. Once he gets his chance, he'll be like, "Am I able to do what Phil Foden does? Just allow the play to flow, allow to be the dictator." And Pep says yes. McAtee won't have a problem with Rico Lewis. I think he's stable basically. I don't see Rico going anywhere. Like there was talk of Newcastle loan wanting the same with Oscar Bob, but I think that's obviously died down. And Pep recognises that Rico's got a vital part in this team. Don't know where and I don't know when, but obviously some games like he can play the John Stones role. Might not be as good at the John Stones role, but he can actually alter lads as John Stones deputy in that job. So Rico Lewis, no problem. Oscar Bob, yeah, pre-season we was gassing him up on this channel in pre-season. Obviously, everyone on social media was gassing him up, rightly so, because like he was quick, dynamic. He made defenders like shit themselves, and obviously he'd run through defenders and create chances. And for his age, you'd be thinking you haven't got the license to do it on a weekly basis. But Oscar Bob's proving every doubter wrong, and it's a big season for him. Now I don't want to put so much pressure on Bob going into the new season, but if he just keeps calm, keeps level headed, he'll just be allowed to do what he did in pre-season, and it'll just become natural to everyone that Oscar Bob is important to Man City's team, regardless of age or ability.
exactly. Big up Jack Lee. So always here every now and again. All doing good, mate. I'm doing good as well. Uh, yeah, honestly, I think for me, I said to Harry, I said before as well. I think Carl Walker for me, like I think I personally feel like he'll be here one last year anyway. I think this will probably be his last year for City. I reckon next time he'll probably be gone to either Sheffield United or someone else. I think the whole Frimpong situation that obviously we were hearing about. I imagine that was probably the plan to get him in, replace Walker. But judging by the lack of news on that, I imagine he's probably staying one more year. Now, is that ideal? No, not for me personally. I'd rather have a new fullback in personally. But if it means that Rico starts with a few more games, that's fine. It gives him a chance to sort of prove himself, obviously, and see whether we actually need a new right back or not. But I think this season is going to be more about which players in this, especially younger players, are going to step up and prove themselves to be a first team player in the long run. Because especially McAtee particularly as well. Because next summer will be the summer where right, how did this player do last season? Not very good. Right, you're out. It sounds very harsh, but when you're a team like us that's always competing at the high level, you've got to be prepared that if you're not cutting it, especially when you're like at McAtee's age now, what 21, 22, you've got to start getting to this team by now. If you're not, then you're out. Sadly, it sounds
Mm.
harsh, but that's where we are now.
But that's where the club's changed, hasn't it? And obviously the standards on like social media. Like when I just said there, if you don't perform it and don't cut at it quickly, fans will jump at you. Obviously, you've seen some fans' reactions to like obviously Carl Walker dipping in form this season or last season, sorry. Things turn pretty sour quickly in no time. And obviously, me and you was obviously two fans that said Carl Walker needs to go, but obviously some fans turn pretty sour quickly on Carl Walker at the
Yeah,
forefront of that. So it's about the level that you perform on the pitch on a regular basis. And it's like where I've just said there, McAtee, if he looks at Foden and thinks Foden's allowed the keys to and the license to perform how he does freely, if Pep trusts McAtee the same way, I don't think there'll be fans slandering McAtee. He's just got to perform on a basic level and just be allowed to roam, basically.
Well, exactly. Like we demand the best from our best players, and that's what it should be. I think people want to say that we actually abuse players. No, like what's their thought? Do not abuse players. That's ridiculous. Like, no, like, that's just unjustified at all. It's more about criticism.
You can't say your shit.
Exactly. Like, don't start sort of slandering him as a person. That's ridiculous because that makes your whole argument not void anyway. Because he's being an idiot. But it's more the fact that it's fine to have to, especially the players and the manager as well. Especially if they're not doing the right things or they made mistakes that were very easy avoidable if they'd just done whatever situation. So for me, I'm just a lot of the younger players like Riley and that I'd give a chance to sort of see how they do more this year. But I think this season is going to be definitely like a judgment season. It's judgments for not necessarily for the experienced player, but for the younger players coming through. It's now the case of can you take a claim in this squad? Can you say right? I'm putting my foot in. I'm saying this is my season. Whenever I'm called upon, I'm going to show up. And I think Bob particularly, obviously Pep loves him. Obviously as O'Reilly as well, and obviously Rico and others of that. But it's going to be very interesting to see which players start more games and with players obviously on the bench more, and obviously, especially out the younger lot as well. And whoever that sort of stands out and makes a claim to get obviously more starts, like your other game. It looks like I'm waffling a little bit, but it's kind of like it's a big season for a lot of younger players, and if they don't kick into gear now, then it could be a long summer of players leaving on loan again. But we'll see what happens. Obviously, look at Doyle. For example, obviously, and Doyle. I know Doyle. Obviously, is obviously sent back by trade. Obviously, and we've got two different players as it is anyway. But he was never going to get in there. I'm surprised he's gone out on loan anywhere. I would have thought we would have probably got a deal for him because especially if Hamilton's going out on permanent deal, why is Doyle on loan again when if Harbellis isn't getting any game time? And I'll argue Harbellis is probably better than Doyle. Why are we loaning him out when we can just got money for him? That's what I don't understand. There's some players I'm like, he's too good to be on loan constantly. Why don't you just get money for him now? Let him go to a team on a permanent contract. Put a clause in there to obviously buy him back if he gets better. And go from there. Like, I'm not saying I'll do it to everyone, but there's some players where like you can tell they won't make it here, but why are you just logging out the loan deal? Why don't you just say, right, just get money from now, so you've got money there ready to go towards another player or midfielder. And I know I sound like I'm waffling a lot, but that's where I'm thinking like there's some players that obviously I'm going to make it here. I need to obviously go on permanent deals, but there's some where I like obviously deserve a loan move out and a chance, especially in a year or so. But for you particularly as well, obviously what you've seen so far in pre-season or when you've watched it. Are you surprised that certain players have like left permanently and some have gone on loan?
The CFG works very like a business model, in it. It's very structured, and obviously it works well. Some players, like you say, they go out on loan. Some players get a permanent transfer, but I suppose it's down to obviously what does Pep and obviously the academy manager, what do they both see in the players like long term as well? Like, I mean, obviously we've seen, just for example, Liam Delap, obviously all these loans. Now he's gone to Ipswich on a permanent deal. I don't think obviously he was going to get nowhere near the first team, especially when you've got Alvarez. Obviously now he's going, but Alvarez and Haaland ahead of Delap. Was Delap going to touch the sides? Doubt it. So that one made permanent sense to get rid of him. But in terms of like Mika Hamilton, I said to you, I found that a little bit odd because I thought he was going to be on the fringes of the first team, but clearly not. There must be a buyback there, which you said off camera. There is a buyback in there, which is good.
Yeah.
I think it's about 11 mil, is it?
Roughly
So
11 million.
yeah, Doyle, like I said, that's a very strange one Because why would you sell Taylor Howard Bellis, but then you're not doing the same with Doyle? And I agree with you. I think I don't know how to put it. Probably, a, I think there's a bit of a comparison between Doyle and Howard Bellis. I think Howard Bellis is cleared by a lot, to be fair. And if I wanted as my well, now you've got a Kanji, but if a Kanji never came in, I'd keep Howard Bellis because he's quite a good player as a fifth choice. For Doyle, I haven't seen enough to say, yeah, you're ready for the first team, mate, even if it's like fifth or sixth choice. So why not just ideally get rid of him? But obviously, like I said at the start, the CFG is a business model, in it. Ultimately, you've got to trust it because it does work well, and it's worked wonders for us.
Exactly. Big up Praveen Kumar. Can Alvarez be a superstar? Let's go. I think he can be. People don't actually realise, for me particularly, how good actually Alvarez actually is. I think when you look at him in our team, he's a very, very good player. I would say he's world class, but he's a very, very good player as getting towards the world class levels as he gets older. But he's playing in a team like Atletico where it'll be geared towards finding him to get the goals. You will see I'll say it, an Aguero-like performance from him. I think there is a player of that quality in there. It's that I think if he was playing in a team where it was more suited to him playing every week in, week out for us, he'd be getting those Aguero numbers. He would be. But the problem is when you've got Erling Haaland, who's a generational, once in a lifetime striker, you can do everything you could possibly want from a goal scorer. I can't blame him, of wanting to leave and get more game time. I think Alvarez will be a superstar in Spain. I think he'll be one of the best players for them. I'm not saying in La Liga. I think obviously that's going to be Mbappe, but obviously for Real Madrid. But don't sleep on Atletico Madrid though this season, especially obviously getting Gallagher in as well. You probably get even better under Simeone. It's going to be a much better team next year. I reckon if we get them, it'll be a hard one to play. I think especially if Alvarez playing against us as well. It'd be a shame seeing him play for another team, but I'm kind of like happy in a way that he's getting that game time and we've got money from him as well. So in the end, everyone wins really in that regard. What about you, mate?
Yeah, thing is on Alvarez, I've said it on his channel before. He's a hybrid of Aguero, but Carlos Tevez as well. Like the way his movement is, he's got
Yeah,
the finishing of Aguero and he's got the movement of Tevez. So it's a 2-in-1. You can't complain with that. And obviously, he's going to Atletico, and the way obviously he's been at Man City, he's been collecting all these trophies. He's been part of a winning mentality and a culture. Same with Argentina. So he can bring that to Atletico Madrid and think, right, I might be the last piece of the jigsaw, the same way as Erling Haaland was with City to win New La Liga, Atletico, or at
exactly.
least compete in the cups on a regular basis.
But look at was it when Suarez went to there from Barcelona? He won them. He won. Was it the league that 1 year? So
Yeah,
it just shows you that I think particularly for Simeone as well, having a striker of that quality. Look, I like Griezmann as a player. He's good. But having Griezmann and Griezmann and Alvarez, you got two quality strikers there that you can sort of rotate, use together, mix and match. Like that's probably why I look at let's go for me are looking pretty good because they've got a good base of a team there that are going to get better and better. Especially with Alvarez, obviously having won everything now, he has that experience and that know how to say right. This is how we do it. I know he's like 24, but Haaland's is that same sort of Foden. Like he's that level of saying I know how to win stuff. Just follow my example, and we'll get there. So I wish him all the best, though. I'm not like salty that he's gone. I'm actually happy for him that he can get game time. Man. I wish him all the best out there, and I hope he does really well because he's one player that I can't ever say like has been horrible to the club. He's never come out and said whatever. He's sort of been honest about what he wants, obviously, and what he's achieved there. I can't sit here and say he's done anything terrible. Like, I think most City fans, also fans, will say, "Good, good luck, mate. Good luck, obviously, in Spain, and wish you all the best." It won't be any kind of negativity at all for me anyway. I was not sure about you, Harry, but I'm fine with him. I wish him all the best in Spain.
yeah. Like I say, obviously we've got to think what he wants to do personally. He's not happy with that midfield experiment, and he wants to be the main guy. And obviously, like we say, no disrespect to him, but he's got no chance of getting in front of Erling Haaland to be a regular striker. So the best thing for him to do is find an alternative, which is obviously what's happened, and Atletico have come calling. So best of luck to Julian. He's been a great servant, like I say, last season, 34 GNA, the fifth most minutes in the full team. So he's contributed quite a lot, really, if you deep dive it. And you've just got to say, for what we paid and what we're selling him for, fair play,
It's
and
probably
all the best.
it's probably one of the best deals I think we've ever done. Because to
Mm.
bring a player in, the goals he scored, especially in certain games, the moments he's done for us, especially at Liverpool, Madrid, there's more games I could probably say about
Pull him away.
There's been many moments in entire races and in terms of cup competitions where he stepped up and done a job for us. So, and Burnley as well. Burnley, where he's because of both of goals. He's a class striker, and he'll be a he'll be get better and better. He'll probably one of the best in the world, I reckon, in a few years' time. But again,
That's why I kind of think he's got a hybrid of Tevez and Aguero.
exactly, he does, and it's why I feel like for me, like I think. I think we'll not regret letting him go because at the end of the day, right, people, everyone says that. I'm like, well, Haaland's in front of you. How are you going to get in front of Haaland? Like, as you play two up front, which is we don't do at all. It's just one up front. How are you going to get into that team? So for me, I'm perfectly happy the way it is. I wish him all the best. But so all we can do now is move forward. Say right, money's in. Get someone in. Sort of one cover that squad slot up completely. And midfielder will be ideal, and then that's it. For me, I think after that, I'm happy because unless someone else wants to go, which I doubt now. I think Ederson's going to stay, and so is De Bruyne's going to stay. So Alvarez, I think, should be the only player that's going to lead the summer of his standard of his team standard. I doubt unless a surprise out of nowhere, that should be it, I reckon. But I think what we'll have to do is obviously just to sort of get a player in who can sort of do a good job. Obviously, in midfield, where she help out Rodri and people like that, and then just go from there. Because we won't really know the squad properly until at least I reckon September time probably after the break. I can't imagine seeing.
September the 1st, because deadline day is usually the last day of August, isn't it?
Yeah, so I'll say right now to anyone watching this, you won't see the official first team that we're going to play till at least after then because you got obviously Foden coming back, Walker, Stones, Rodri. Yeah, everyone's to come back obviously from holiday. It's going to be a very interesting month. I'm not worried because I think we should win our games that we've got this month. And Chelsea have got an interesting new way of playing, but I think we should win our first three games. After that, obviously, we'll see what happens. But I think as long as we sort of have a good start, that's what I'm hoping for, really.
Well, I'll tell you what. Right, this is going to sound very surprising to you, but I think the board obviously are going to be that intent of going for a CDM for Rodri. So maybe if we don't end up buying one by August 31st, then like I said earlier, maybe you have to look at O'Reilly as backup, or even you maybe chuck Kovacic in the DM role since he's versatile as well. But what you could do is, if you was to ignore the Eze deal and not sign no one now, why don't you use that Alvarez money next season when De Bruyne is most likely to leave and go wherever, like maybe New York, and then you've got obviously you've got money from Alvarez still that you can pay off for De Bruyne's replacement.
Exactly. So, I don't know. I'll say that's the other thing. I mean, the Alvarez situation within transfers is obviously discussed, and I think it's kind of like it's kind of straightforward. Obviously, what we want and what the rest of the fans want, but hopefully, deliver something. But we'll see what happens. But on to Saturday now.
Yep.
Honestly, I'm going. I think you're going to get. I think you're not going to game on you Saturday.
No, mate, I'm at work.
You're at work. No worries, that's fine as well. So for me, I'm going more to sort of to see different players. Obviously, I'm not really too worried about the result. If we lose again, then I'm just cursing at dogs at that point. It's my second one I'm going to. But I think for me, more for me, it's more important about seeing more players get game time. More for this. Obviously, if you win, of course, always beat them. But if we do win, I'm not even there going mental. I'm more like, okay, cool, we beat them at least. With a little bit of revenge, a little bit. Not saying for revenge for that kind of final, but it's something to sort of go into the season with a bit of positivity and a bit of like confidence in the legs. But it's more seeing as like Bob, Rico, players like that, obviously who was obviously getting to this team now. I just want to see certain players sort of step up themselves. For me, especially, it's Cam Phillips. That's something I need to see in that midfield or whatever he plays, and sort of I want to see a performance from him that says I deserve a chance to sort of prove myself. I deserve a chance to come back from where I was in the first year. And if he does that, then I can't fault Pep for or whatever to sort of give him a chance going forward. But I said before on the stream, obviously, but off air, it's down to him and also the players around him, obviously, and obviously we've got on the bench to show how good they can be. Because again, next Sunday obviously is the first game, and that'll be. I reckon this game on Saturday is going to be a big indicator of what team they'll play on Sunday.
Yeah, well, obviously, like we said, some players are slowly coming back into the picture, but obviously, some players like the England and the Spain boys, obviously, they're not going to be fully up to speed. So I wouldn't bank on seeing like the England players and Rodri obviously not playing in the next couple of weeks because obviously they've got to get up to full fitness and get back up to scratch, haven't they?
Yeah.
Whereas Saturday's game, it's more like I say, rather than like an FA Cup final, it's basically like another pre-season game because that's what the fans usually say. It's a day out at Wembley. It's just a curtain raiser for the Premier League, and for the players, it's about getting them back up to speed, about getting a philosophy going in ahead of the Premier League. So if we see some kind of good performances, outstanding result, it is what it is. If you win, well done, we move. It's not like well done, let's go party like we've won the Champions League or the FA Cup last season. It's more the case of we need to build on this momentum ahead of Chelsea and like get some rhythm going because obviously now the Premier League's 1 week ahead of us. You need to find some consistency and have the right balance in the squad rather than saying right, all these young players you performed in pre-season, but obviously you're gonna play against United, but then you won't play Chelsea. Why do that? You need to have some kind of fluency now, and that's starting with the first team players, and they just need to get up to speed ahead of the Premiership match with Chelsea because you don't want to go into that Chelsea game next week with like players not match fit. They're not feeling it, and obviously the tempo, the rhythm's not there. You need to get them ready.
Exactly, and that's what I think. That's again, obviously, it's. I think the fact that we're now getting very close now to season starting, the excitement's actually starting to brew a bit more. Obviously, I think we'll start seeing more content. Obviously, more content, more streams obviously coming out, which would be good. But I think it's that we're finally now at the point now where we actually look forward to sort of the season starting, get us back in the groove again, back in the hype again, of playing obviously week in week out, which is I've really missed that, playing week in week out and sort of having a game to look forward to during the week or on the weekend. It gives you like excitement, obviously, to sort of go and watch them play. It'll be good. I think, like you though, I'm like one game at a time. I think even at the start, because anyone's thinking about a big game like Arsenal, don't like. It's all about the first game we play. Because if you start thinking about future games, you end up like missing out the games that you're playing right now. Like, if one thing about this league that I'll always say, never assume that you won a game beforehand, because any team can beat anyone in this league, no matter how
Yeah,
good you.
you remember Luton away last December? Like we was in that little slump and we thought, oh, it's Luton. We'll get back to our best and we'll piss them easy. And they give
Half
us a tough run for our money.
time 1-0 down, didn't it? And
Yeah,
thankfully,
exactly.
so we've got to be prepared. So I'm not saying like prepared to be disappointed. I'm saying prepare yourself for the fact that this team's got to get going again. We've got to find our style of play, find our best team, find our formation that's going to suit us, and our style of play, obviously, and how we're going to do it. and then we'll go from there. I think enjoy. I'll say to everyone is enjoy every game that play. Obviously, on Saturday it's more of a last chill game, last game, sort of relax before you play the first game. But I'll say to everyone, obviously, we'll discuss obviously, before that game, discuss obviously the whole league as well and see where it goes. But to anyone beforehand, and say just enjoy every game for what it is, because when we get towards March, that's when it starts getting really intense. So I'd say right now is just enjoy this team developing. As long as we're in that top three and still on the coattails, still right there with whoever's up there at the start of the season, that's what I'm always sort of thinking of. I'm not too bothered about not being first, because being first means nothing until it's match day 38 and you've won the league. I care more about the fact that as long as we don't slump off completely and then get out of control and it's too far gone, as long as you're in that area within about a point or two or 3 points, whatever long it is, and just stay in there, that's all I care about. Because as I said, to anyone expecting this team to hit ground running straight away, don't, because we've got a lot to sort of go through. A lot as team as one another league again have to go for 5 in a row. It's gonna be a lot of change up again. But I'm looking forward to it though. I'm looking forward to seeing this new style, this new team. I'm very excited to see how Haaland does this year. Particularly Haaland, particularly, I want to see how he does. But I just want to see confidence again going forward. The team flowing more going forward, a bit more flair, a bit more. Overall, just a much better attack going forward this year for me.
Yeah, I think some fans like to jump the gun and just think, right, oh, when's the Manchester derby? Oh, when we're playing Scousers, when we're playing Arsenal. It's more a case of just go one by one, take every game off as it comes along. So Saturday, United, and then when it's full time of United, right, boom, tick that off, and we go to Chelsea, and then same with that after Chelsea, Ipswich, one by one. Don't get carried away. Don't get excited looking at fixtures, and don't go thinking, oh shit, Luton, that should be a walk in the park. And then what? And then when Luton comes round, yeah, we play like crap that first half and 1-0 down. Just take every game as it goes along, one by one, because that's what we did in the treble season. Nobody was getting carried away thinking we're in an FA Cup final. When's the final? Forget the Premier League. Everyone was right, one game at a time. Let's go up to Brighton. Let's go up to Brentford. Let's go up to United. Let's go up to Inter. We need that kind of mentality back in the fan base, just so
Yeah.
everyone's ground level basically and level headed, rather than getting carried away. Because that's where some fans got obviously lost in their emotions last season. A lot of people were just like, "Whoa, let's get this 4P over the line. Can't wait for it to happen." No, just step back a minute and just go back into the real world, one game at a time, starting with United, and that includes the performance. Because ultimately, performances win your games. Performances collect results.
Yeah.
You can have the odd game, right? Don't get me wrong. You can have the odd game where you play like shit and you collect a win. But if you do that for 38 games, you aren't going to get very far. We've had this conversation about England, haven't we? Where you play shit and your luck runs out eventually, and that luck ran out with England. Might have been in the final, but it still ran out. Of 38 games, it's a long season to do that. So one game at a time, City fans, and just think, right, look at the performances, where can we improve? And that starts with the Community Shield. Because Chelsea, yeah, I got my ticket for Chelsea away today. I'm buzzing, don't get me wrong. But ultimately, it's about Community Shield first. It's about what players are available for Saturday. And if we're losing the players for injury, then we need to think about that for Chelsea. But we can only do that by assessing Community Shield first.
Exactly, because look at the games right now. We've obviously got United, obviously on Saturday. We've got Chelsea away on Sunday, and we've got Ipswich and then West Ham, and after that we've got a break. So we've only got 3 league games, and then we've got a break.
Yeah.
So looking at the fixture, looking at our first few fixtures we've got, right? I mean, it's definitely a harder start, but again, I don't mind that because it's not just a full-on easy start where we just piss every game and get away with it. I think what it makes this team realise is that we actually got to start playing at a good level. I'm not asking for prime pet ball. I'm asking for like the players on that pitch to
Yeah,
give it.
realistic.
Yeah,
Because
realistic.
What did Pep say as well, mate? He said about we will be late, saying don't expect a fast-paced start from City. Don't expect us to be scoring like 20 goals and be top of the league. It'll take time.
Yeah, obviously we do, and obviously we'll be happy. But the thing is, even last year, one of our first 6 games we won, all of a sudden we lost to Wolves 2-1, and we lost to Arsenal 1-0. But then again, though, if you remember last season, we started with wins, but we played pretty poorly. Most of the games, apart from maybe Burnley, we won like 3-0. We beat Newcastle 1-0 for a deflected goal, which is a goal still, but a deflected goal. We then beat Sheffield 2-1. When like Sheffield, we got we got away with it at the start of the year, and then all of a sudden we hit like 2 losses in a row, then got a win, then a draw, and we started like dropping points throughout the rest of last year. So I'm kind of just like I'm very. Well, I'm not scared. I'm always looking forward to seeing this team play, and I say I'm kind of realistic of what we see. But if we see progression and improvement on this channel, we will always compliment it and say what we see. But if we see shit and we see performances that are terrible, we will also call it out. If we don't like that, then I'm sorry, it's tough shit. Like you can't just pretend that positivity is going to make this team better. Like I'm saying, like you've got to be realistic about it. As in, if we play really well, we will compliment the players that play really well. Like let's say Cole Walker has a good year this year. Brilliant. I'll be positive for him because in the day he's our player right now. So he hasn't left yet. He's still our player. If he plays, I'll back him because in the day he is a City player. Doesn't mean I won't criticize him if he plays poorly. But at the end of the day, right, we got to sort of, as a fan base, I said before, be united to say, right, United front, we know that it might take a while for us to get going again, but a bit of patience and just monitor the style of play and monitor the progression we're making. If we're not making any progress, then we'll call it out and say, right, what's going on? Why aren't we making any progress in there? And we're not asking for wins every game, but at least put the effort in because when we say put effort in, we get wins. So it comes out hand in hand. So all I'm going to say to all the fans right now, obviously in the chat, obviously, or obviously watching on Twitter or whatever, have a bit of patience, a bit of faith. And obviously, if we don't play well, then we'll obviously be here in this chat, so I'll obviously discuss it, obviously quite deeply, and sort of see where we go, obviously, towards the next game. That is the point of this show, particularly City Talk. Be it with Jack, be it with Harry, be it with anyone wants to come on with us and sort of chat with us at some point. And I'll say it right now, we are doing that at some point, and people are on with us to discuss City stuff. It will happen soon. But right now, it's more of a pre-season sort of chill chat. But then after this one, though, it's full on focus for the season ahead. This is our last chill stream before we get really serious about games, really serious about win, and that's what it's all about. You know what I mean? That's what it's all about. But as I say, we're finished yet, but it's more just to give you guys an understanding of what this show's about. It's about giving fans a voice, giving us a chance to talk about different games, but next week is when it really starts getting serious because Chelsea away, that's the first game. It's a league game, and this is where our title defense
are on the board.
Points are at stake. It's it's 5 in a row we're going for now. Champions League we're going for again. FA Cup we're trying to win again. It starts again, so be there honestly because it's a long season, but we'll always be here every week having a chat about City because I'm sure a lot of you had the sort of same opinions that me and Harry do, and we always sort of I find with saying on Twitter you can't really sort of come across the right way, whereas on here you can sort of say what you actually think and comes across the right way. You know what I mean? I get hard at it. That's why with Twitter I'm very very limited now on anything. Now I've set most of my opinions to this because I can just say it clearly because online you get abused for weirdly. Whereas it's just a bit. But this show isn't about that. It's about giving everyone, even if in the comments section you actually agree with us, that's fine. You're entitled to your opinion, as we all are. But that's the point of the show is to sort of discuss, transfer, discuss the big games coming up. And yeah, that's why on Saturday, although I'll be there, I'm sure if you right now watch them, I should be there as well. Obviously, I'll be seeing Harry and Jack. I'm sure plenty of times this year and obviously this season anyway, which would be good. Obviously, we'll do like meetups and have a chat. Obviously in person, which will be really good. But it's what I mean. This is what it's about, though, as fans. Sort of discussing together, meeting up together, games, supporting the team. That's what it's all about. That's what football's all about for me. I was a few areas as well, but yeah. But before we obviously end the stream in a bit, predictions for Saturday. Do you have any predictions at all?
Yeah, well, if I'm being honest, we need to have this like little conspiracy theory about when we lose the Community Shield, we go on to win the league. But when we last won the Community Shield, we lost the league, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
So I know it's against United, but if this conspiracy theory is true, I'd rather take the L and just hold that dinner plate, if you like, just so we can say, yeah, it leads on to the fifth Premier League in a row. But if you want a prediction, oh, again, that also depends on land, but I'll probably go sneaky 2-1 City.
That's what I'm going for. I think 2-1. I think they'll score first, but again, if you look at their team, no
Yeah.
no Euro. They have players that obviously got Rashford and Sancho, but they've been pretty poor themselves.
No, don't start me on that Lenny Euro. I mean, how much they paid for him, and he's injured,
I know, but
and he's only 18.
if you look at a team, it's literally the exact same team as last year, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, they've paid all that money for Lenny Euro, and now he's injured, and there's all saying he's going to be our next Nemanja Vidic. Yeah, okay then.
They got Xerxes, but is a young player that's got a lot of potential as well going forward. But they've just signed young players.
I mean,
It's only Chelsea, pretty much.
Also, if you look at it, United haven't had the greatest pre-season as well.
Exactly.
It's going to be one of them where it's going to be like itchy and scratchy games.
I think 2-1. I think Bob will score.
Yep.
I think Haaland will score. I think 1-2-1. I think it won't be an insane game, but I think we'll just get the win this time. And then obviously if we do, I'll be happy. But I'm not gonna sit here going mental or laughing because obviously it's not a real competitive game. If it's a league game, we beat them 2 or 3-1. I'll be right in their faces, chatting shit as we always do. But it's a shield game. It's not a cup game. It's a community shield game. It's you win, cool, but it's more the fact that how the team's looking going into Sunday this week, which is what I want. I want next Sunday's more important anyway. This is more about just getting minutes in the tank, get the players back to the GK again in training, get them playing, and I want to see how this team plays because I tell you right, it's going to be a very interesting few weeks in August, December before we start seeing.
Yeah. For me, I don't want to. I'm not being funny, but I don't want to see anybody go complete crazy and say we've won the Community Shield, we've beat United. Yeah, I know we're beating United, but it's a Community Shield. It's the curtain raiser basically. Like I'd understand if it's the FA Cup, like last 2 seasons they beat us, like last season. So I had a lot of my friends basically on Facebook and on Twitter, even in like my local pub. They was all saying, your lads are shit. We beat you, ha ha ha. Because I was giving it big uns in the treble season when we beat them. I was giving it loads, but that's the FA Cup. For Community Shield, has anybody got a right to go crazy just on the Community Shield?
Well, also found they beat us on penalties. They got away with. They beat us 1-0. Both times they beat us, right? It was a deflected goal off someone's leg.
Have you seen that art blog?
Arse block. Oh, but it isn't arse block. It is arse. Basically, it's like how look. I said before, right? People will say it's conspiracy. How is Rasmus Højlund given £75 million not a conspiracy? Yet Alvarez going to Vlesco for £82 million isn't.
Oh, right. This is going to end up turning into a nice little rant. But Goldbridge, who the hell does he think he is? Like, he made a video moaning at Man City, selling Alvarez. Selling Alvarez to Atletico Madrid for 80 mil. Like, how dare you, mate? Have you seen your club over the last 10 years? You've bought all these players. You bought Lenny Euro for like 60 mil. No, 70 mil, sorry. You've bought bloody Mason Mount 55 million. I mean, come on. You're not in a position, Gorbridge, to talk about us selling our players on for profit when you're buying even Harry Maguire for 80 million. Now look at Harry Maguire, mate. Oh, Goldbridge, mate, he can fucking do one. He's so bitter, that man. I mean, don't forget, he's always 1-1-5 Man City. Just wait till 1-1-5. Honestly, if we get proven innocent, he will literally collapse, mate. I
I'm
don't know
just,
what he'll do for content. He's
I'm
been
just
using
saying,
our name to cover his ass.
if we get 3 of those charges right, we're doing massive long streams of people and sort of just taking the piss, and we don't give a shit if people say conspiracy and cheat, whatever, or pay them off.
Middle-aged man.
Money guns, paying off. That's what we do. Because the thing is, this fan base will take the piss, the ultimate piss. Like, honestly,
Yeah.
we don't give a shit. As I thought, I don't give a shit if we get found guilty for it, right? Then all right, cool. I'll take it. I'm just get. I'll go from there. But the thing is, I've said before, right? Anything like this, right? A big court case like this, and if it was that bad, right, and we had been found guilty of it, I guarantee you right now we'd have a result by now. But because the Premier League don't know what to do about it all, because they've put us into a corner because the Americans have demanded it, have demanded to stop us. They're trying to find a way out of it, and they can't because they haven't got a way of doing it without it looking like bad on them. Like, it's not like I'm trying to make things up, but explain to me why it's taken over a year for them to look at a case like this when you've got Everton. There's one charge that Everton have got, or whatever. But for a case as big as this, why wasn't this taken straight away to a court straight away? Just, I mean,
it's over 10 years as well.
That's what I mean. Like, I'm not. Look,
as soon as you met that first charge, right? As soon as you know about that first charge, how come you didn't pick it up straight away from like 2012 onwards?
Exactly. Why now? Why is it all of a sudden now? Why did they just call it up at that time? This is what I don't understand, right? It was very convenient that it came out at one time, and they trusted a guy, a journalist, that's in prison for hacking stuff. How do you trust a guy, right, who's been in prison for hacking different stuff? Like, I get he's an investigative journalist, right? But if you're hacking stuff to get information, then it means what's your whole point. It's why I find it hilarious how everyone's been duped by one person because they hate us so much. They can't see through logic. They have to sort of get angry, which is ridiculous.
And then you get these YouTubers like Goldbridge believing a hacker, a proven known hacker, and making content to feed his family over a load of shite, basically, a load of lies over what hackers said. Has Goldbridge seen the evidence, has he, from the Premier League and from this hacker, Rui Pinto? I don't think he has. So how can someone like Goldbridge sit there behind his buddy mum's green screen and comment on something that nobody in the Manchester City fan base claims to be an expert? How dare you? You're not even bloody a Man United fan. You're from bloody Nottingham, mate. So do better. You're just using Man City's name to help you, like, feed your family, basically. That's what it is. Middle-aged man doing that. Touch grass and get out, man.
Yeah. But that's the way we are now, man. That's the way the world is now. Like, it's all about just clicks, and this is why this channel, right? Even if it takes ages to get anywhere with it, right? I'm doing very, very well for a first few months channel, by the way. Which I think thanks to everyone, by the way, for support, views, likes, and everything. So we'll always appreciate people. We will never sell out for a pound note or money. We're not doing that because the thing is, at the end of the day, right? Straight away, you'll know that will just give the money. Like, obviously, if you get money from it, it's brilliant. But of course, anyone gets money for anything, it's awesome because it helps you pay bills, whatever. But if you're doing something just for the views and the clicks, then I'm sorry, it comes at a very monotonous, boring job because you actually get money for it. But the whole joy of chatting to someone on a stream about anything, right? It's uniqueness. And that's what I don't like about modern day YouTube and modern day content creation. It's just all about likes, all about the views, and it all helps, of course it does, but it should be about just like right now, chatting to everyone in life.
General football.
Exactly, it's what it should be about. Don't get wrong, right? Look, I mean, I do this more to sort of help for myself to chat to obviously people like you, Harry, obviously people that Alex and Danny are doing. It's more about people getting involved, having a chat with us, be it guests, whatever. They can come on, have their say, and it gives everyone a much more of a community feel. That's what it should be about, especially with City. It should be everyone supporting each other, backing each other, and getting us going to where we should be. That's what this channel's about. But with like United, like Goldbridge and that, it's all about the money. all about the views, all about the he said this, he said that. This is why I said before, do not ever expect this channel to ever get like that. Trust me, if it ever does, I'm shutting it down. Because
No, you shouldn't.
so no, this channel will always be the way it is. I don't care if the views aren't as impressive as other channels. We're the day right. I'm not bothered about that. The views will come over time for anyone. Like especially if someone right now in this chat that wants to do a city streams, whatever, give it a go. Don't worry about the views. If you've got people that support you and will share it around, that's good enough in itself, and you get people watching it eventually. Just enjoy the fact that you're actually doing content because it helps you. It actually sort of gets you out there, like confidence-wise on the microphone, on front of the camera. It ain't easy doing this. It's not at all. Like it's, but you get used to it, and the better you get at it, the more fun you have with it. Which is why I enjoy doing it. Obviously, with you and obviously Alex, Danny, and Tone, Martin, Luke, whoever's on the channel or with them, is what it's all about. But yeah, I think a bit of a bit of a ending there. Obviously, different to what we were going to discuss, but sometimes this is what the channel's about: discussing topics that come up, discussing them, and sort of and saying this is the last time that this show becomes this show. Next week, we're right on Chelsea. Chelsea away, league predictions. It all starts. The full-on show starts. And look, because next week, trust me, be it with us two and Jack, or whoever's around, trust me, be there. Because next week is where it really starts. But to everyone who's watched, obviously, tonight's stream, always appreciated. Like, subscribe to the channel as always. Follow Harry on Twitter. A blue fan from Hull. Is that right? Correct I'm saying that?
Yep, blue fan from Hull.
Yep. I've put it in the description anyway, so you should have to see it anyway. But big up to everyone who actually tuned in tonight on a rainy Thursday evening. I know it's pretty boring still right now, so the transfers not being as active right now or games on. The next week it starts. Make sure you're there on next Thursday. We'll see you then, guys. Take care.
See you later.